In other words, God made evil possible by making free creatures. But we make evil actual by using our freedom. Henry Ford made every accident that's ever happened on the highways possible by mass producing automobiles. And I come from Detroit and used to work on those assembly lines. But he's not responsible for every accident. He made evil possible, but we make it actual. God made evil possible by creating a good thing called freedom. Free will makes evil actual. We're responsible for the use of the freedom. Problem one, how can one will evil when there is no evil to will? Now this is the problem of when God made the angels, and they were perfect, and one of them was called Lucifer. How could he possibly do evil? He didn't have any evil in his nature. He had no evil in his environment. There was no evil in his source, God. Everything that surrounded him was good. How can one will evil, Lucifer, for example, when there was no evil to will? Augustine's response is evil arose when a good creature, called Lucifer, with a good power of free will, when it's good to be free, willed the finite good of the creature over the infinite good of the Creator. In other words, no evil needs to exist in order to will evil. Willing a lesser good can be an evil. You say no evil needs to exist. How can evil be committed if there's no evil there to commit? The answer to that is that evil is created by a will. It doesn't have to be there. It becomes something that exists when a free will brings it into existence. James Orr, the great apologist, said, evil was born in the breast of an archangel in the presence of God. 1 Timothy 3:6 says, don't put a novice in office, lest being lifted up with pride he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Isaiah 14 depicts it beautifully when it says, I will become like the Most High. I will, the 5 I wills of Lucifer. So evil arose when a good creature with a good thing called free will willed the finite good of the creature over the infinite good of the Creator. So now we have an answer to the nature of evil. It's a privation and a good thing. There are no evil things. We have the answer to the origin of evil. One of the good things with good free will brought this corruption, privation into the universe. Then the question arises, why didn't God stomp it out right there? Why didn't he just nip it in the bud? Why does evil persist? And this next argument is perhaps the most powerful argument an atheist has ever used against God. And most atheists use the argument from evil against God. And it goes this way. If God is all good, he would defeat evil. If God is all powerful, he could defeat evil. But evil is not defeated. Just look at the newspaper, the television, or look in the mirror, for that matter. Evil is not defeated. Therefore, no such God exists. Now notice the conclusion isn't necessarily atheism. It could be finite godism. It could be a God who's not all-powerful and or not all good. But certainly an all-good, all-powerful God can't exist if evil does. Therefore, theism, which is what the Christian claims, would be false. How do we respond to this very powerful and very logically tight argument? Well, we can't reject the first premise. If God is all good, he would defeat evil. Of course, he wants to do that. If he's all-powerful, he could do it. If he's omnipotent and all-powerful, he certainly could overcome evil. But evil is not yet defeated. You see, the non-theist forgot a very important word in the third premise. Yet. Evil is not yet defeated. Now the conclusion doesn't follow. Therefore, no such God exists. Why? Because evil might yet be defeated. Today, tonight, tomorrow, next year, 1,000 years from now, doesn't matter. If it's possible that evil can yet be defeated, then it's not impossible that an all-powerful, all-loving God exist. Now, the atheist doesn't take this answer lying down. He has a retort. His retort goes this. The new problem. If God is all good, he would defeat evil. If God is all powerful, he could defeat evil. But evil never will be defeated. It has never been defeated to this point, and we have no reason to believe that it will ever be defeated in the future. Evil never will be defeated. Therefore, no such God exists. Now, this is a logically tight argument. In fact, the conclusion follows. No, all good, all powerful God exists if evil never will be defeated. And evil has not yet been defeated, and we have no reason to believe that it ever will be defeated. Therefore, we have no reason to believe that any such all-powerful, all-good God exists. Now, there's no way for the objector to know that premise C is true unless he's God. How can you know for sure that evil never will be defeated unless you have all knowledge of all future states of affairs? If you have all knowledge of all future states of affairs, you can say for sure that evil never will be defeated. But if you're omniscient, then you have to be God in order to argue against God. So the argument presupposes that the objector has the standpoint of omniscience, to know that evil never will be defeated. And there's no way for the objector to know this unless he is God himself, in which case he posits God in order to defeat God. The response: if God is all good, he would defeat evil. If he's all powerful, he could defeat evil. But evil is not yet defeated. Therefore, what follows from those premises is that evil one day will be defeated. Why? Because if God is all good, he wants to. If he's all powerful, he can. And if it's not yet done, just hang on. It's coming. Evil will one day be defeated. How do we know? Because the nature of God himself demands that answer. An all-loving, all-powerful God wants to do it and can do it. The nature of a theistic God is the solution to the problem, but seems to be the problem itself. If he's all-powerful, he can do it. If he's all good, he wants to do it. Hence, he will do it. How do we know? Because he's all-powerful and all-good. And he wants to and can. If he wants to and can, it's not yet done, it will happen. If it hasn't happened to date, it will happen in the future. Well, how can God defeat evil? Because this is a universe with free will. People can do what they want to do. They can choose what they want to choose. So how can evil be defeated? Notice I didn't say destroyed, because to destroy all evil, you would have to destroy all free will. And to destroy all free will, God would have to destroy something in his creature that he gave them. He'd have to renege on what he gave them, and that makes them like him. So he allows everyone to freely choose their destiny. Then freedom is preserved, because nobody is forced to do anything. Everybody is free to choose their own destiny. And here's how he defeats evil. Eventually he has to separate evil from good. Jesus said, let the wheat and the tares grow into the harvest. There will be good fish and bad fish. There will be good and evil to the end, but eventually they have to be separated. Why? What is it that frustrates good people? Evil. What is it that frustrates evil people? Good. I used to work on the assembly lines in Detroit, and you know what frustrated me? They're swearing, cursing, telling filthy stories, blowing their smoke in my face all day long. I was frustrated by their evil deeds. You know what frustrated them? Me. I had my Bible. I was witnessing to them. I was sharing Christ with them. I was memorizing verses from the Bible. So the only way you can solve that problem is there has to be a place where there's no more evil to frustrate good people. The Bible calls that heaven.